we're going to start with easier questions, and then we'll move on from there. First one, and I guess we'll just go from left to right. How many children do you have?
One and one on the way.
All right.
I have 2 and 3 stepchildren.
All right. Okay. And when did you become a mom? I guess what was your age, or what year, or whatever?
It
Either
was
one.
August 3rd, 2011.
Okay.
September 2nd, 1992.
Ooh, yeah, those days are ingrained. They're ingrained in our minds, aren't we? We never do forget. We may forget our day of birth, but we won't forget the day our children were born. Okay. Okay. What's fun about being a mom?
The hilarious things that they say, and
Okay.
just the special moments that you get to share with them. And when they say things like, "Mommy, I love you."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that's I always love to see the interaction between the kids. It's so much fun. It's so priceless, just seeing them just love each other too, and just like Stacy said, just tell you what a great mom you are, and it's just so much fun. It's just wouldn't change it, trade it for the world.
But did they always get along?
No.
Somehow
No.
I didn't think so.
No,
That's
they have their
something-
moments, but
Yeah. That's something Stacy has to look forward to with her second one coming along. Okay, let's think of what is the funniest thing your child, or you could tell us for both of them, the funniest thing they ever said.
Okay.
Or is there too many? I don't know. Are
There's
there
lots
too many?
of them because Bella has all sort of things that come out of her mouth. But the one that's coming to my mind, and I apologize how this sounds in advance. We usually get here pretty early in the morning, and it was a few years ago. I think she was 2, and we were sitting in the car, and I realized that I had forgotten my church keys, so we couldn't get into the church until somebody else showed up. And so we just stopped the car, and we were sitting in the car just waiting for somebody to show up who would have keys. And she looks at us and she goes, "Get me out of this freaking car." And that's when I knew that it was time to stop saying that word.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Well, for me, it's kind of reactions that they make, their faces. It's like one time we were talking, and Christian and I when he was small, we were looking at pictures, and he said, "Who's that, Mommy?" I go, "That's me," when I was a baby, of course. And he would say, "That's not you." And then I was like, "Yeah, your mother was a baby before." And they go, "You were?" Just like the amazement, they think that we were little. And then with Madison, I remember I was doing her hair, and just give her pigtails, and she had Chinese eyes, and said, "Mommy, I look like a Chinese person." So they're just a lot of fun, it's the things they say.
Oh, it is. They're priceless. Those are things you write down, in a book, because you tend to forget sometimes. So, okay, let's get down to a little more serious things. What was or has been the greatest challenge as a mom?
Dealing with the things in her that she gets from me. And somebody else I know. To have 2 parents that are very stubborn and strong-willed, so she gets it from both sides. It's true.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Let's see, what would I say? I said I think getting through our divorce was really hard, for the kids, both of them, and that was really challenging. But through communicating with them how much we need to pray for their dad, and how much he still loves them, but he just couldn't show it. It was just it was hard, but they understood, and they believe that no matter what, we'll get through it together,
Yes.
and we made it stronger for us to get through things together. So, yeah.
That's good, Sylvia, because so often when there's a divorce, the parents are fighting so much and it affects the kids. So it's good that you could see that and try to make it's really about the child, but we make it about us sometimes. And it's so good that you could let them still love both parents, and it was okay, that you were okay with it, even though all of you, all that was in you wanted to say, he's a jerk, or whatever your pet word was for it. But you feel that, but it's so important. That child, has to deal with it, and so
they're innocent.
yeah. That's true.
We can't, continue to. Their hearts are so tender, and they need to feel like, no matter what, that Daddy's not right, and we need to keep praying for him, and we need to make sure just to reinforce it in them that he needs help, and it's not the person that that he used to be. So, yeah.
Very good. Okay, were the challenges now? Okay, Stacy has just 5 years of experience, but she can probably comment on this too. Were the challenges different as they grew?
Yes, there were the terrible twos, the the awful fours. So yes, just going through the different stages, and like I said, it's the things that she gets from me and from Kellen, because she watches us and she sees how we react, and so those reactions only get bigger and stronger. So
Sins of the fathers and mothers are visited on the children because they watch us.
And I want to say maybe they've gotten a lot stronger, and they have a relationship with their dad now. So, which is great, but, it's little by little, it's not perfect, but at least it's a relationship. So.
That's great. Very good. Okay, this is a loaded one. How do you and your husband approach parenting the same, and how do you approach it differently?
at this point, since it's only been 5 years, Kellen and I pretty much approach parenting the same, by trial and error. So we make the same mistakes and we learn from them, and but I'm sure it will get more different as time goes on.
Well, with Gary and I, it's a little battle, but we agree most of the time. But we're a work in progress, I think. I mean, all our kids. Our youngest one is 21, so they're pretty much young adults. So, but we're always there for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, at that age, they're about ready to parent themselves, aren't they? Yeah, and you were just there to kind of help, like you say, be supportive, but the parenting is pretty much over at that point. Except, I would still say, wouldn't you guys agree that even as an adult, even you watch your parents, even we just watch what they do. Even as adults, we watch how they handle situations, and we sometimes may not do what they did, but it's still in our hearts, and we see what they've done, and sometimes we benefit from that too. So, yeah. Okay. So, let's see. How has God changed you when you became a mom?
I would definitely say that I'm a bit more emotional. I'm pretty independent and strong-willed, and having Bella kind of just softened that just a little, not too much, but that's definitely one way I have changed.
Well, for me, before I had children, I was a perfectionist, I would say. And that was hard when I had Christian and he started growing up, and then Madison came along. I was like, oh no, I had to ask God to help me for sure, because I could not. It was hard for me to, see all the mess and everything around the house. But I just told God, that's it, I'm done. I let it go. I give it to you. I'm just gonna, not worry about it anymore. And that's been gone.
Yeah, how's that working for you?
Now I let my grandchildren do everything they want.
That is really true, really true. I think, too, as moms, we probably would say we became more unselfish, because before children, it's all about you. You whatever you want, you do. And I think that we see probably that we have to stop and not think about ourselves anymore, but we think about that little person. And so it's just of necessity. It changes you to become a little bit more unselfish. So, okay, how has parenting changed your marriage, if it has or hasn't?
Children always make marriage more difficult. That everyone knows that. So I think for us it was that we had to learn how to still be one, but then with Bella too. So we had to, we make time for date nights and special times for just me and Kellen, so that we don't lose that connection. Because you see so many families that once their kids all move out, then divorce happens, and you don't want that to happen.
That's very
so
true.
Got to keep the bond strong.
Well, for us, it's kind of hard because our baby girl is in college, but when she comes home, it's totally different dynamics. That's for sure. And it's and we all work together, and always include her, and and it's just a little different with adult children.
Yeah. Well, and that's the next question, because Stacy won't be able to answer this. How has parenting changed for you now that your children are adults? So.
Well, before I used to do a lot for the kids, and then now that they come home, I try to want to do this for them, do that for them. But you know what? They're adults and they need to be dependent, and not independent, and then they need to just stop relying on me, and I just been kind of holding off on that a lot, and just pray for our kids, we just need to pray for them every single day.
It does. I'm sure it does change. Well, it has for me certainly too, having an adult child, and but again, like you said, the parenting, or like I said, I guess the parenting is over, but and you're not responsible for them, but you are still responsible to them, to love them, and to assist them when necessary, and those are hard things to work through sometimes, because you do want to tend to do everything. I know Chuck has to help me with that sometimes, that I need to just step back, because our adult children need to have that freedom to do what they want to do. And so, okay, last question. How has being a parent changed how you pray?
Totally, because all of a sudden you're not just praying for sort of the same thing, the selfish thing. You're praying for all your wants and your needs. And then when you have somebody else who depends on you, it just becomes all about them, and constantly praying for them, and just asking God to keep them safe, and because you're so worried about this crazy world. We're sending our kids to schools and stuff, and that scares me. So just totally changes your focus.
Definitely, it's really important that we all pray for our kids. They're gifts from the Lord.
Yes.
They're so special, and they depend on us for our prayers and our support and our love. Just like God loves us unconditionally, we need to love our kids unconditionally. You know, and who else are they going to turn to?
That's right.
You know,
That is
they
right.
need us.
Yeah, if we don't pray, who will? I mean, we are the closest to that child, whatever age they are. And if we don't pray, who will? So, well, I think that concludes our interview.